And I want to start off with the concept that is called grab your future. Find your passion, create your dreams. And I think about how we can leverage what we have here and where we're at in our current lives to find that passion, create the life that we choose to live. And what I created is called the Simple 7 system. So the Simple 7 system is essentially what we call a wheel of life. And I created it into a grab your future. And I wanted to break down that Simple 7 system for each of you guys. And the reason why I think this is important is because Matt mentioned in our opening comments today, what does 2007 mean to me? If you guys didn't write down that question, I would write down that question. What does 2017 mean to me? I think in this wheel, there's going to be different meanings. There's going to be different meanings for each of you. There's going to be different meanings for me versus where I was 4 years ago to where I'm going to be in 4 years from now. But if you had to think about where you are now and what does your 2017 mean to you? Bless you. I'm going to talk about the business. I'm going to talk about personal. I'm going to start with personal because I think the business is a vehicle, an enabler for a personal life. We spent the last several hours today talking about the business and what it could do for us. I want to talk about what we can do as leaders in order to make sure that this business can serve us and be a win-win. So I'm going to start with grab your relationships. So grab your relationships. A lot of you guys know I've been with Lindsay now over 2 years. We've been doing really well, and just like any relationship, there's ups, there's downs, there's miscommunications, there's great communications, there's great nights, there's bad nights, there's all these different ups and downs in a relationship. But I think it's important one of the things that I've realized through this roller coaster is we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional when it comes to relationships. So what did I do? I realized that we were at a rocky place, so I intentionally sat down with my schedule and created intentional trips that I wanted to have where I can get quality time. I had intentional conversations with mentors in order to figure out what do I want in my relationship, where do I want to go, and be intentional. I realized that she felt like a puzzle piece in my whole scheme of life versus I wanted to build my puzzle with her where she wasn't just a piece. I think that's an important concept. I think about the family. A lot of you guys know that my mom had 6 kids and my dad had 2 in a previous marriage, so I'm the youngest of 8. And I think about the people that are in my life and being intentional with them. The first time I ever said I love you to my oldest brother Adam was at SLC. I was like, dude, I know we're both macho men and we don't say I love you and you got 20 years on me, but I just need you to know that if anything were to happen to you or me, I need you to know I love you and you're my brother. And it was the first time in my life that I could remember him saying, you know what, I love you too, I'm glad you said it. I think about this brother where Scott, he lives in Mexico. These guys are twins, and then he's the oldest. They all look alike, but Scott's in Mexico. And it was the first time in my life I saw him cry. It was almost like a milestone for me to see my big brother cry. And it's silly, but it's being intentional with a connection, a deeper level of a relationship with someone that I care about. So this is the whole picture. This was at Olive Garden. We rented out pretty much the whole space. This is the whole crew, and we get everyone together. There's a lot of people to be intentional with. But being in a relationship doesn't necessarily mean about companionship, but also family. And are there people in your life that you think in a year from now, in 2017, can you include that into your wheel? What about health? So I think about health and fitness. I think about health and fitness. Where are you at with your energy? I love what Carlos mentioned about you don't have to be a gym rat, but you have some sort of physical movement in your daily routine. For those of you guys that follow me, my morning routine is #what? BMW. I love it, right? And it's cool because now I have the BMW.
What does BMW mean?
Yeah, and BMW is breathe, meditate, walk. So breathe, meditate, walk. And I kind of branded that before I got a BMW. I didn't think I'd get the BMW this fast, but now that I have it, it's kind of cool that it overlaps. But I created that brand of breathe, meditate, walk. And the walk, it could be a jog, it could be jumping jacks, it doesn't matter. It just walk means movement.
I like this.
Movement. And what's exciting about the breathe, meditate, walk, and what's exciting about grabbing your health is I found a joint venture. And I would write that down, JV, joint venture. Who in your life could be a joint venture? You could call it accountability buddy. You could call it someone that you hold you accountable. I think of it as someone I could give value to and someone I can receive value, so it's a win-win. So I officially partnered up, Grab Tomorrow, with Elevated Fitness, and we are officially a joint venture where Grab Your Health, we are official partners with Elevated Fitness.
Official partners in the NFL.
It's official. And
That's awesome.
Kathy's flying in for the event, Grab Your Future, and we are branding this thing to be leaders in our community through health, through fitness, and physical health, but also mental health. So where do you want to see for your 2017? Is there someone who has what you want where you can joint venture with them? I think about passion. Grab your passion. We call it your job, your work, your mission. I call it your passion. We spend how many hours a week in our business? If you're not passionate about that, you wouldn't spend 40, 50, 80 plus hours in your business if it's not something you're passionate about. So instead of calling it your job or your work, I found the word passion for that wheel of life. Grab your passion. I think about that passion as our people. I'm going to talk a little bit about this as I transition into business in just a moment. But these individuals, I love this picture because all of them have such a special place in my heart. I think about Andrew Logue, who's now married to Zena, and that he started in my business, in my office. It wasn't just work. That is a passion of mine. Maybe vector connecting is my thing. I don't know. But, I just think about, all of these individuals. Doug is now a district, and Doris is in her dream job, and Patricia is graduated with her master's degree, and Nisbet's working for WellCare, making $65,000 a year, and just bought his first condo at 22. And I did Ryan's a DM, and I just see about where these people are, and these individuals. That if we're passionate in our lives, in our business, what's the ripple effect? What does that do? Grab your legacy. See, I just went to an event. Sam Lutrico joined me, and we had a guru. The guys brought a guru in from India to come in and talk to us at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning. And I never met a guru before. And it was very interesting listening and hearing about getting in touch with the inner spirit. And we were able to ask certain questions about life, the meaning of life, the meaning of death, and afterlife. And one of the things that the guru talked about, it says that when we die, it's like graduating, moving from middle school to high school, and from high school to college. And when we die, it's the spirit that moves on and graduates onto the next chapter of life of the spirit, the life of the spirit. And the life of the spirit, this body that we're in, is just a vessel. And this body that the spirit is just visiting for this temporary time, whether that's a couple of years or 100 years, it's just visiting this place. This is what the guru's philosophy is. While it's visiting your vessel, what is it that we're doing with that? What are we allowing that spirit to how is it creating a ripple? And I think about our legacy. And I love that through my business, we crafted this little thing called PB&J for Tampa Bay. Now, PB&J for USA, where J. Brad Britton ran the first one in California. Kathy's running one in Houston. Juan Preciado's running one in Jacksonville. We have a big one coming up on November 22nd here in Tampa. We're going to hit over 25,000 meals this year. This isn't just about feeding the homeless. This is a community project where strangers get together and network and meet other people. That's rippling and creating good vibes in our community. They're going to help sponsor my event, the Grab Your Future event. People that want to meet the founder of PB&J for Tampa Bay. That's the promotion on how she's going to get people to come to this event, just to meet the founder. I just think about what type of ripple can you create in 2017. Grab your time. We all have 168 hours in our week, so grab your time. We all put our power hour together. We all put a schedule together. We put a plan together. We have our monthly calendar. But what do we do with that? A key word that if you're taking any note, mental or physical, would be present. A fantastic book that I'm reading right now by Eckhart Tolle is called The Power of Now. And it had 15 million copies sold. And I heard about this book a long time ago, but I decided to read The Power of Now. And in this book, he wrote down this sentence. I love this sentence. He said, I cannot stand myself right now. I cannot stand myself right now. How many of us have ever got to that place where it's like, you know what, I'm making such silly decisions, or I know I'm supposed to do this, but Impractical Jokers marathon just came on, and it's like, I just can't stop, right? Whatever it might be, it's like, I just can't stand myself right now. I'm so frustrated with myself. And in the book, Eckhart Tolle, a big revelation for me, he said, I'm talking about myself in two different forms, the I and the myself. It's the conscious talking about the unconscious. Which one am I listening to? There's two voices. And he said, when he had that revelation, I realized it's a matter of being present. And he said he got to a place of unconscious competence where he was unconscious, but he was aware of what's going on around him and tapping into a whole new realm of psychology. Now you might say, how does it tie into time? It's a matter of being present. We can put everything in a schedule. It was funny, Ashley just said, yeah, I just finished my Grab Your Thoughts, Capture Your Moments. I just finished this. She's like, wow, you did that fast. Well, you weren't there every morning when I wake up at 5:45 to work on a passion project, along with Real Stories, Real People, Stories of Redefining Life Experiences. I'm going to launch 2 books. They're finished. They're ready to be published, and they're done at the same time, is because I dedicate being present at certain moments in my life. How are you grabbing your time? What's important to you in 2017? If you make it a priority, it will be a priority. You got to give yourself some sort of deadlines when it comes to your time. You got to. In this journal, Trey Harris had us do this back in March. In this journal, I put right here, March 30th, 2016, I gave myself deadlines for this wheel, for this Simple 7 system, certain deadlines that were important to me of things that I wanted by 2016, 17, and 18. And they're specific, they're smart, specific, measurable, attainable, right? SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic. SMART goals, they have some sort of time frame. Money. Grab your money. Now, money is one of those subjects and those topics in this business where, I've been in the position where it's either really, really low or it's like really, really good. It's like that, there's like that, never really, it's like, I'm just okay. It's like one of the two. It's like I'm feeling really fat cat syndrome, or it's like, man, I got to get out of where I'm going. And I realized that how we're viewing money is how we feel about money. And I took the emotions out of it. I took the emotions out of money and stopped tying. It just started becoming a number, where it was like a benchmark. This is what I want. This is what I want to do with my money. And I realized that I didn't really need as much as I really thought. It was like I was chasing something, but then I questioned, why was I chasing it? And where the revelation came from was when Powerball came out. You guys remember this? And it was like, what would you do with all the money? You win the money, what would you do with it? And when I challenged myself to answer that question, I realized that that rabbit hole of whatever I would do with the money would eventually end, and it would not lead to fulfillment. So I had to figure out what would lead me to fulfillment, where if I died and the money doesn't go with me, what leads me to fulfillment, and what would I want to do with that money that can drive the other parts of my life? Then I realized, okay, how much money do I need for that? So I created some sort of benchmarks as far as that goes. Versus just saying, I want this amount, I tied meaning to it. It helped me. And lastly, grab your thoughts, which is the concept of this whole book of Capture Your Moments. This is a guided journal. It's a guided journal with questions, my favorite questions, to help get clarity of thought. Because so many times we could be healthy, we could have great relationships, we could be thriving in our business, we could have all these things in our life, but the fact of the matter is, if it's diluted up here, if it's contaminated with negative thoughts, we're not going to be present in those other parts of our life. So getting clarity. As far as the business goes, the business moves that I encourage all of you to make is thinking about, when does your new year start? Well, my new year started when the fall started. When does your new year start? Have you thought about what 2017 is going to look like for you? Because if you know what you want outside of the business, then that could be, what do you want from the business? Okay, you want a recruiter. Why? You want to have coaches. Why? You want to have development pool of 5 branches or 2 districts. Why? When does your new year begin? One of the things Matt said in his opening comments, he said $100 to $200 hour work, right? Well, if we looked at our schedule and we spend 30 hours a week doing $100 an hour work, that means we're paying ourselves $3,000 a week, 50 weeks a year with 2 weeks of vacation, that's $150,000. And if we're working 50 hours a week, let's say 20 hours are like $50 an hour work. That's another $1,000 a week. So we're pulling in $4,000 a week, which is $200,000 a year. If we actually live in that model, are we paying ourselves $200,000 a year working 50 hours a week in those activities that produce that type of revenue? So what are those activities? They're going to drive the results that your business needs. Now, it's not about $200,000. It's about fueling that wheel that we just talked about, that simple 7, that focus of how you're going to grab your future. And I think the challenge that we've figured out in life is that we don't know where to start. It's like, I have all this whole giant pie that I want to eat, but my stomach's only this big, but the pie's this big. How do I know where to start? Well, it starts with one bite. Every starts with one step. Every goal starts with one action. Everything we want in life begins with one small step. And we could take those steps. Could it be 6 hours this week where we focus on targeted recruiting? Could it be a focus on, I'm going to spend 3 hours this one day on campus targeting specific talent? Could it be whatever conversations with your top people that you're really excited about developing for your future? How intentional and laser-like focus could you be with that one step? If you made a list of all those one steps and picked out 3 or 4 or 5 of those every single day, which is the concept of the 5 things daily, and all you did was simply just write down those 5 intentional items that you're going to do each day. Maybe some days it's 2 or 3, some days it's 5 or 6 or 7. But if we were intentional with those actions, at the end of a year with 5 daily, that's 1,800 actions that we checked off of our list. Think about how exciting our life will be. So in closing of our event, of my message, don't change yourself because you're afraid of what people are going to think about you. Growing up in this business as the only banker type of CVI, the person that I felt as an outcast at this table because I wasn't getting the results as my peers. The person who I felt inferior because of CPO. And now, as Matt brought me up, says the person that could bring energy and help people get perspective. I didn't care what people thought as much as I grew into myself. I encourage you in 2017 to find yourself, to grab your future, to grab your tomorrow, and figure out what you want out of 2017, and that journey starts now. Have a good night.